Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Vision 6 Power Session. My name's Andy. I'm the product trainer here at Vision 6 in Brisbane. I'll be taking you through today's session, which is titled Use Sender Profiles to Control the From Address. So firstly, a quick look at this actual feature. What does it let you do? Well, it's a new feature that lets you configure which of your Vision 6 users can send from certain email addresses. Now, as per the example there, we've got the fact that the marketing staff could be allowed to send from or as the CEO, but all other users within the Vision 6 account can only send from the main sales email, info at, as an example. Which is a great feature because currently in Vision 6, if you don't have this set up, and it is a new feature, but at the moment, if you were to just use the system as is, you can send an email from anyone as, within the organization. So this particular function or new feature locks it down so that certain users can only send from certain email addresses, which is a great feature, of course, to have. Within the feature itself, you can actually customize the from address and the from name as well. And we'll have a look shortly at how easy that is to set up. Users within the platform can also be assigned different sender profiles, and you can have multiple profiles per user as well. So say you are the head of marketing, and when you log into Vision 6 as your email address and password, it can let you send from, the marketing team, HR, the sales email. You can send stuff on behalf of the CEO, all these kind of things. But maybe, a new starter or someone within a different team within the organization can only send as themselves or can only send as the sales email address because maybe they're part of the sales team. They don't get access to send as the CEO and other things as well. So it's a great little feature to really lock that down. One thing just to keep in mind is that sending and saving functions are disabled if your user doesn't have at least one sender profile assigned. So when you do turn this feature on, just one thing to keep in mind is that to give someone at least, or to give every user at least a sender profile, and also when you add new users into the system in the future, to also make sure you assign them a sender profile as well. Otherwise, they won't be able to save, which is an important one. Sending not so much because not all team members always can necessarily send emails. But from a saving point of view, definitely that's an important thing to have available. So just one little thing there to check. Now, who does this function apply to? Well, it's a new function. As I mentioned, it's out now in all Vision 6 client accounts, but it's available on our business and pro marketer plans. So it kind of suits the audience there. So it's one of those functions that's generally designed for a larger business or potentially a government department as well. But I guess anyone can use it within your Vision 6 account, so long as you're on a business or pro marketer plan. It's quite easy to set up and activate. So we'll have a look now at Vision 6 to see how it works and how we turn it on. So I've just got Vision 6 open here, and I'm going to begin by going to the settings area or the admin area in the top right here. So we'll click onto the little gear icon on the top right there. And we've got a new function here, Sender Profiles, that appears in your account. So we'll click onto there. The first step is to add some sender profiles. So this is where you can configure who can send as whom, and the different access levels and that kind of thing, who you want to give the different profiles to. So we'll start with a name. So in this case, we could put in there sales team or generic email address. So the from name could be XYZ Donuts Sales, and the address could be sales at XYZ Donuts. Now I can choose which of my Vision 6 users, so all these people listed here are the people I have over here in the users section. So now I can say which of my staff that log into Vision 6 are allowed to send as the sales team. Now, because it's the sales email address, I'm going to say all of my staff can use this particular profile to send as. So I'm just going to go, yep, save that one. Go back. The next thing we'll do is now add a second one. And this is where I'll say that I'll do the CEO's email address or the boss's email address. So we'll go CEO's email address. I might just actually just go to CEO. From name is our lovely CEO, Carolyn Custard. Email is CEO at XYZ Donuts. A reply to is optional. You only have to fill it in if you do have a different reply to address configured. And for this one, I'm going to set the training account to have access to this particular address. If Carolyn was a user in Vision 6, I would also probably give her access to send as herself as well. So that's another thing I would just turn on her account as well, probably in most cases. So there we go. And I've just added that one there, and I can continue to add these. So if I've got different departments that I want to send as in Vision 6, so different from addresses that would appear on the other end when I'm sending out emails, I would just sort of continue to add these. And it's got a little cross there just to say that the address is not verified. You can still use it without that. It's just a feature there where you can, at the time of setting up the profile, on that confirmation screen that came up afterwards, there's a button there to send an email. All it does is Vision 6 sends an email to that address, and the user clicks it to say this, to say it's a real email address. But you don't actually have to do that at all. You can still use it even though it's not verified, as in the current state right now. I could start using it straight away. So it's now been set up, but I haven't switched it on yet. So I could continue to use Vision 6 as normal, perhaps send an email out to all my staff members advising them that we've turned this feature on. This is what to expect. This is what it will do. So it gives you some time to sort of let your staff know, your Vision 6 users know that it's coming. And then when you are ready to turn it on, you can just toggle that to on there, and the feature is now enabled. So what happens now is when we go to either edit a message and press save for the first time, or if we go and send a message, or even if we go into the message details section here, the screens within those three areas have changed a little bit. So we'll go into the new message first. We'll pretend we're writing a new email, and we go to press save for the first time. This screen always comes up when you save a message, but this section has changed a little bit down here. So you can put in your normal details there. So we can say new HR policies, for example. The subject is staff changes for our HR system. So it's quite an important one. This might be something that the CEO is sending. So the profile, I'm going to say that this is tagged with the CEO, or the sender profile I'm using is the CEO. So because I've given my user, I'm currently logged into Vision 6 as that training user I showed you, I've got access to two. So I can make this email and save it as if it's coming from the sales team or the CEO. So I've got access to two. But if you were any of the other users logged into Vision 6, you might remember I only gave them access to the sales team sender profile. They can only have this option. That's all they'll see in their Vision 6 when they log in. So I'll just go and save that. And now when I go to the send screen, I can no longer change the from name or from address. It's locked because it's just locked to this sender profile. So that's the whole idea of this particular function is where you can lock which users can send on behalf of which email addresses and people in the organization. So again, it saves a rogue staff member on potentially their last day sending an email on behalf of the CEO, or as the CEO saying you're all fired or something silly like that. It has happened, not with Vision 6, just if you Google it, it has happened before. So yeah, what you can do with this is then lock that down to certain people, so that trusted people only, or staff members that have been there for a long time, managers, senior leadership, etc., can access certain email addresses, and then everyone else just gets the sales one or info at, or whatever sort of more generic email address you might like to use. Of course, in last week's Power Session, and this is now on our YouTube channel as well, we did talk about message approvals. That's another great feature you could use in tandem with this, which is where messages can only be sent once they've been approved. Once they've been approved, they can't be edited again without being reapproved. So that's another great way you could lock down the system even more, particularly if you've got a large organization or, again, a government department using the platform. You can sort of say that only these people can send as certain email addresses, and the message must go through an approval process before it can be sent. So these two features work really well together. You can, of course, use them on their own, but coupled together, it's a great new set of features we've got here to really restrict and lock down that a little bit more, which is, again, good for a larger business, corporation or government department using the platform. So there we go. That's the ability there to now change who this email is being sent as. You no longer have the option to just change it willy-nilly in here or here. It's now locked to that. And when I send, it will then go out as that particular person with that from address. So yeah, that's the feature shown through there. Also, when you go into this little screen here, which is your messages area, and you come into message details, again, you've got that same sort of function here. You can set who this message is being able to be sent as here when you're going into the message details area as well. So essentially any part of Vision 6 that has to do with an email and who it can be sent as or on behalf of, that's where this new setting will appear. So generally it's on the message details screen, the save screen, and also on the send screen. That's the sort of three main places where that function will appear. And if you'd like to know a little bit more, we actually have a video and how-to guide on this as well. I'll send this through in the recording later on. Just in our support center, type in sender profiles. This article will come up and it walks you through the same process, shows you some examples there of how it could be used and why it's important. And then, of course, basically the steps we followed today there in regards to how to set it up. And of course, that note that I mentioned before is that every user must have a sender profile assigned in order to send a message. But of course, the important one is save. Users won't even be able to save their work unless they are assigned a sender profile. So just thought I'd highlight that again, because if someone spent an hour building an email, they won't be able to save it at the end, although it will prompt them throughout the process and warn them at the top that they can't save it as well. So they're hopefully not wasting too much time there. But yeah, important one for system administrators there that are setting up new Vision 6 users is just to assign those profiles to everyone. You can, of course, in our permission system, disable the send function altogether anyway. So if you're worried that you're giving your user an access to send on behalf of someone just to save a message, you can, of course, turn the send function off as well as part of a user preference setting for their permission level. So there's always other ways to make the system more secure as well if you want to. Fantastic. So a couple of quick notes there. The first one, as I mentioned there, that everyone needs to have at least one sender profile, otherwise they can't save or send. So don't forget to add that to any users that you add into the system to have that little setting turned on. And also, in terms of being able to turn this function on or off, or to edit and add different sender profiles, it's available to all users with the full or higher access level in Vision 6. So when you set up your users in Vision 6, you can set different permission levels. I think there's 4 and an owner, or 3 and an owner level. This particular function is for full and higher. Those users can add, edit, or enable this function as a whole. And it's a great new feature that you can turn on today in your business and pro marketer accounts. So go and check it out. But thank you very much for joining in today's session. I hope you've enjoyed it. My name's Andy. Have a great day. Thanks again.